Good afternoon or good morning, dear colleagues. I would like to begin our little workshop today. With me, my colleagues from the Bank of Russia, Elvira Brzunova. She's the head of Financial Markets Infrastructure and Financial Instrument Division from the Financial Market Development Department, and Irina Pantina, Economic Advisor, Financial Stability Department, also Bank of Russia. I believe we begin this workshop from the presentation about NSD's trade repository, what we did like in this year and before, and about our development plans. And after that, I answer the questions about our project, about some significant changes we have. And if you will have any questions about the legislation, about what is going on our financial market, what are the plans, I will pass your questions to my colleagues. And I hope we get answers. So, all right, let's start with the presentation. Let's begin with some quick facts and figures about our trade repository. So we are the first one on the Russian market. We started operating in February 2013. Like 3 years already and going. We started from recording information on repo trades and FX swaps, and reporting of the rest derivative trade types began in October 2015. So it's not even a year from we began recording this information. In September 2014, we've been recognized as a systematically important institution by the Bank of Russia because of our volumes of trade reported and a number of our clients. So, and right now we are like largest repository in Russia because we have more than 1,000 clients. We have a lot of professional market participants from Russia. We have a lot of foreign clients, corporate institutions. We have even some individual clients, from long time ago, but still there with us, which is, I think, good. We register approximately 40,000 trades per month, and monthly volumes like 30 trillion rubles, so something that's the average. So, to continue with the facts and figures, we have, you can see some volumes on the diagrams here. The most popular instrument is the FX forward. You can see it's like 80,000, like 100,000 trades per quarter. Well, for April and May, we have a bit lower volumes, but that's because of the long holidays, and we usually have such activity. But if you will see the volumes of the trade, FX swap, it's like, FX forward is like 7%, while FX swap, which is not so popular instrument in numbers, takes like 70% in volumes, which I think is quite interesting. And repo trades, there are not much of them reported, like 2,500 in April and May, yet by volume they have like 70%. So that was like, I don't know, a promotional part about our trade repository. Let's go to our development. We launched repository 2.0 project, 2.0 project last year in autumn. So because we found out that when we started in 2013, we had a completely different environment, including legal environment, where everybody had to report, even the foreign clients, even individuals, corporate clients. And after that, legislation changed significantly, and we also found out that the structure we've built, while it was good for the 2013, it needs to be redesigned. For example, clients had to issue power of attorneys. There's been a lot of complications in our messages formats. The fee schedule wasn't quite optimal for our clients. So we started this project. So our goals were to optimize our message formats, create a new fee schedule which will be more like more like a custodian one. And we also knew that there will be changes in the legislation, like reporting trades without master agreement, and our system wasn't ready for it. So what we did, well, there was a lot of things, a lot of tasks. You can see them on the roadmap here. We are like in a couple of days there will be one major deadline, because we will launch trade reporting for single trades on 27th June. We also will begin to check UTI, and there will be a new fee schedule on 1st of July. So as you can see on the roadmap, there is a lot of work has been done. We made a lot of like workshops for clients about how to use new software, how to report trades to us. Developed a lot of new forms for reporting. For example, we developed some sort of a bulk format in case well, some of our clients, they have let's call them technical FX swap trades in large volumes, so they need to report them in one reporting form. So we're near the deadline, and let's talk about what we are going to change. So first of all, we have a new reporting process. So before we had this complicated structure when we had three types of entities, like I don't know, in our repository. So there was a client, party of a trade. There was a principal reporting agent who acted on the power of attorney, and this principal reporting agent appointed, well, reporting agent who submitted information about trades. Now that's quite complicated, and well, with the power of attorney, well, there are always problems. It has to be sometimes notarized. It has to be issued for each principal reporting agent, for example. It usually has an expiration date, so it needs to be renewed from time to time. It's difficult to withdraw this power of attorney because it should come from our repository. So we decided to change that. We decided to get rid of the principal reporting agent and create a new let's call it application in order to assign only reporting agent. So we've developed this CM16 form, so application for designation of these agents. It can be submitted by paper or electronically. It has no expiration date, and which is more important, using this one form, you can appoint as many reporting agents as you want. So there is no like limit. And of course, it's very important that unlike power of attorney, reporting agent, when client tries to designate it, should confirm its assignment before reporting can begin. So if reporting agent decided to reject client's proposal, so it won't be like assigned, it will be rejected. One issue is we have a lot of clients who decided not to report, so they can submit, so in case they submitted the CM12 form about the rejection to report to the trade repository, they don't have to provide anything. There is some sort of a status quo. And those clients who decided to report by themselves, they also don't need to provide any of such forms to us. So how does it work? Actually, it's quite simple. So client submits an application to us, we validate it, and we send it to all reporting agents specified in this reporting form. And as you can see, some reporting agents, for example, this one, reporting agent 1, decided to disagree with its assignment, and other two agents agree. So we will reject this agent, reporting agent 1, and other reporting agents, they will notify the client that they agree to act on its behalf. So it works quite easy, as you can see. And of course, there is you can submit it in paper if you don't have any electronic interchange with us, or using the web client. And speaking about the web client, we made some significant changes in our software. Well, of course, for foreign clients, it's not a major issue, but anyway, before we had a lot of communication channels. For example, this Luch software, which was free and was a bit outdated, in our opinion. And we also had the web client and file gateway as like services provided by the third party, but you had to pay for them monthly. Swift File Act always was available. It's not our software. So we decided to change this because with Luch software, it's always complicated to update it, to keep it up to date. Sometimes it works for many other services. So we decided to get rid of it and grant free access to web client and file gateway, and which we did from the 1st April. And we will discontinue the Luch supports like on 1st October. Now in a week it will be working like only as export and import, automated import-export forms. So not a big deal. We still use FPML format. Nothing changes here. Well, but we'll try to simplify it to get rid of I don't know, these fields which we don't use. So I hope it will be easier to report. Important changes will come to the fee schedule. So what we do, we shift from, we change the payer for the messages. Before it was like each client, which was the party of the trade, had to pay for itself. It doesn't matter how many reporting agents it had, or for example, how many messages this reporting agent submitted. We always billed the clients, which was the major issue because a reporting agent wasn't able to pay for the clients, allocate the costs. And we decided to go to this custodian model, which will allow easy allocation of costs. So starting from 1st July, we will bill the reporting agents. And in this new billing, it will matter how many messages will be reported by the reporting agent, not by a client. So this will be cost effective because if the reporting agent reports for many number of clients, we will give the discounts to such agent, which will, I think, will be good for the market. And clients won't receive invoices, so we'll simplify our own billing structure. We'll only bill reporting agents. And we also developed some new fee schedules. We still have like old one per trade basis, but we revised it. We made some changes into number of to the prices, to the fee grades, and we developed 5 subscriber plans. So you can see it. They're all published on our website. So you should go and check them, I think. So some few words about our development plans. Starting like 27th June, we are launching format and logical check service. So why we do it? We do it to improve the quality of messages which we register and send to the Bank of Russia. With this service, we will provide clients information on discrepancies about certain trade parameters. This we will launch later in October. So we want to reject these messages in case, for example, some trade parameter differs from, I don't know, the interest rate or the exchange rate. We will notify the client that something isn't right with the trade data, and client can after that decide to amend this or to keep this information because maybe that is correct data it's submitted. So there will be some mandatory checks, of course, because we will deny registration of data in case trade date exceeds settlement date, which is of course an obvious mistake, and we should reject it. Another major task, well, it's maybe not important for our clients, but important to us. We are going to license our trade repository because it will be mandatory. So we hope to do this, to submit all the documents in September. So by the end of the year, if everything goes well, we will have a license. Other development plans, well, also in accordance with the legislation, we shall publicly disclose some information about number and trade volumes on a weekly basis, I hope, from the 1st January. And in the future, we plan to provide some additional services, some analytics to our clients. We still want to integrate with trade platforms such as Bloomberg, Reuters, and, for example, Moscow Exchange standardized OTC derivative market, because we believe that working with these platforms, this will speed the data transfer to us. It will also be well, these platforms, they are friendly to the client, so the client don't have to prepare all these messages by itself, etc. And another major task, maybe for the 2017, we are going to be EMIR compliant trade repository. So we would like to receive this status because this will allow our clients to report trades in accordance with both Russian and European regulations. So I believe that's all for the presentation. Thank you. And I think we'll go to the Q&A session now. I received some questions about our trade repository, and let's check if we have any questions about. Oh yes, we have some. For me and my colleagues. So one of the questions, I believe this one is for me, what should client do if, in the past, decided to stop reporting and right now, well, decided to come back to the trade repository to report to assigned reporting agents, and now it's submitted the form which allows it not to report. So in this case, it's actually quite simple. You have to recall this CM012 form, and after that, you are free to choose either to report by yourself or assign reporting agents, which you can do by submitting this application form, which I told you before. You can do this, I'll repeat, in paper form or in electronic, so it's up to you. Next one was how the new fee schedule will affect the clients who decided not to report also. Well, I believe this question is because many clients decided not to report because they are not obliged anymore. So right now we charge those clients who decided to stop reporting 1,000 rubles per month. And now, well, with the new fee schedule, everything will be the same, except we will charge you 1,500 rubles. We raised the fee because we provide now the free access to the web client. So we encourage all our clients who still do not want to report, but wish to, let's say, control the actions of their reporting agents, their counterparties, to connect with the trade repository, to use the web client to see the trades, because well, this is valuable for the market. And we also received some questions from central bank. So first one is about the UTI. So we have some different rules, some different regulations, because in Russia we have to use the full LEI code in order to generate the UTI. In Europe, for example, they use only part of yes, partially without the low prefix. So, for example, if the Russian counterparty decided to use the UTI of the foreign one, can it use it? Will it comply with the Russian legislation?
Thank you for the question. We do not limit the clients and we do not limit the counterparties to be compliant with the rules established by Bank of Russia. We just set the obligation to report the trades with an UTI, and it doesn't depend on the site where it was generated. We allow Russian clients to accept the foreign UTIs, and it doesn't matter whether it has the full LEI code or not. And we allow NSD to accept different UTI codes generated in every scheme, every jurisdictions, and we set only one checking, and we set only one obligation for NSD to check whether it's whether this UTI code sent to NSD in a message is unique in NSD databases or not. And this is only one check for this kind of code.
So yeah, so Russian clients can use foreign UTIs, yeah. No problem with that.
Yeah, they have an obligation only to generate their own codes when both counterparties are the Russians. And I see this only one way where we can follow the rules mentioned in our legislation, in our directive. Because when the foreign counterparties can generate their own codes, we can accept these codes and to send the messages with these codes.
Oh, thank you. So yes, that's excellent. Another question we have about closeout netting, because right now there are differences in Russian legislation and foreign one. So when closeout netting will be, I don't know, untied from reporting, because that's the major issue for foreign clients.
Yes, it's a very important question, and right now the State Duma is discussing it, and we hope already in this session we will see the decision of untying, as you told, closeout netting and TR reporting.
Thank you. Another question we received about, I don't know, it's one maybe very strange or complicated. So, are there any plans about cooperation with European, American trade repositories or like authorities? Because there is a lot of talk about exchanging data between trade repositories or maybe between like regulators. So, are there any plans? For example, is Bank of Russia planning to look into the EMIR, to the European data, or vice versa?
I think this question will be answered after the results of working of the working group CPMI IOSCA and different discussions with the FSB, Financial Stability Board. At the moment, as I know, there are some plans of making the decision whether it should be direct access from the regulators to different trade repositories, and the second idea to develop some kind of memorandum of understanding between the regulators and to allow indirect access for foreign regulator to national trade repositories and back. I think we can answer these questions. We can answer this question after the main decision, after the recommendations. I don't know from which side, from the side of working group of CPMI IOSCA or from working group of FSB.
Thanks. So it will be like ISMA, for example, will go to you, to the Bank of Russia, and asks, can you provide us with some information about this trade? And you will go to us after that for this data. It won't be like direct access, so ISMA won't be able to look into our data directly. They will go all through you.
Truly to saying that direct access is quite difficult. It takes a lot of time to connect different parts of this, different sides as regulators and trade depositories. And I think that's my own opinion that the final decision will be the indirect access, because it's easy to implement. It's easy from technological and from organizational side. That's all I think.
Thanks. This one is interesting. So, do non-Russian residents need to provide collateral and valuation information to the Russian repository in order to be included to the closeout netting?
So we just talked about untying closeout netting from trade repository, and when State Duma will make a decision, it will be enough only to report the actual general agreement,
master agreement.
general master agreement to repository. Not every deal, not collateral, and so on. Of course, we will expect the reporting of every deal under the master agreement and without the master agreement, but it is not tied to closeout netting decision. It's first. The second one, right now, you must report collateral only if the deal is done under RISDA.
Yes.
Yes, only on Russian master agreement. If the deal is done under ISDA agreement, you don't need to report such details as collateral and so on.
Thank you. We have a couple more. So this question, as previously announced, the UTI would be required for the reporting from 1st July 2016. Can we use the, can we use the UTI generated in Bloomberg system for the reporting to the Russian repository? Are there any specifics we should know before the reporting the UTI? Is there any differences in the adhered practice in Russia comparing to the ISDA standards? Thanks. As we told before, you can freely use UTI generated in Bloomberg by yourself, by any other trade platform. We will accept it. So we will just check that it's unique. And as I believe, there will be some sort of harmonizing. So like around the world, they'll be using full LEI for the in the near future, like couple years. Yeah. Oh, so you can use it freely, and no worries there. So let's see, we have a couple more. This one may be complicated. To ensure registered trades at NSD to qualify for cross-product default netting, does the Bank of Russia place a dependency on non-Russian entities to submit a monthly MTM report to qualify for the netting? No. Can you? No, you can answer.
I already answered the question.
Yes. Oh yes, it's
about
still about
already, and I don't see any problems with it.
So it's also about the closeout netting. Yes. So
reporting and closeout netting.
Yeah, so reporting, only master agreement should be reported, and after that it will be enough for the netting. Another one I think is for me. So if I want to change one of my reporting agents, should I send you new CM 016 form with just new reporting agent, or one new with others? You should amend this CM 016 form. So just to include another one, we'll amend it in our system after the ordinary procedure. So I think, let's check. I think there are no more questions for this moment. I don't know, maybe you have anything to add to our clients, to all who listens or views us?
I can say that we can answer the questions offline in a couple of weeks, I think. Maybe NSD decided to print out on website some frequently asked questions.
Yes, of course. If you have any more questions, so please contact us. We will transmit this information to the colleagues from the Bank of Russia, or answer them about our trade reporting. Actually, there was one question, I think I missed it. I don't know, about UPI. Can you comment about the plans for the UPI? Because that's the major issue in European Union.
No, it's not the major issue, only
No,
European.
the issue is like the beginning of the major issue.
The same problem as for general requirements for trade reporting. I think according to the schedule of working group CPMA OSCA, some draft of technical standard for UPI will be finalized till the end of this year, and maybe next year we'll see the big discussion on it. And after the recommendations from this group would be provided for the national regulators, then we will think about how to implement these recommendations, how to implement this classificator, and so on in our legislation, in our regulatory requirements. We'll see.
So we shouldn't expect it like next year?
No, next year we expect only discussion on it.
Whew. I think this is good news. It's good to know. So I think no more questions. Thank you very much for joining us. So once again, if you have any questions about reporting in Russia, about the changes in legislation, so please feel free to contact us. All our contacts are at NSD's website. So we'll try to answer them, do our best. So thank you very much again, and goodbye.